Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Bryan Air Podcast. Come for the aviation analysis, stay for the banter. Hi, Paul.
How's it going, cuz?
What's happening?
Just another day in paradise.
First things first, what happened to McLaren, China?
Jeez. Yeah, no, look. I think they're getting a bit of a hiding. I think the disqualification for both races was a little bit unfair.
Both drivers.
I mean, no, not fair. But man, they've fallen off the wheel this last few races.
Next race when?
This weekend.
This weekend.
Yeah,
it's tight now.
Yeah, well, Verstappen's only got
24 points.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he wins this next Grand Prix, then he's pretty damn close to nabbing it in the...
Yeah, look, he still needs Norris to probably have a couple of DNFs, but we'll see.
Yeah, anything's possible. It's been a long time since we've had a Formula One championship that's been this open-ended, so close to the end.
Yeah. Last one was Lewis and Max a few years ago. Let's jump into a bit of the aviation stuff. So last week it was all about the news anyway. It was all about the Dubai Air Show. I don't know if you saw how many massive orders there were, but there were like some seriously big orders for lots of Airbus, lots of Boeing aircraft, and a lot of it targeted at the Gulf market, Middle East market. So I sort of threw the question out there, what impact do you think that's going to have on the pilot market, your career progression going forward? And I got a lot of replies from it. A lot of people I don't know, and a lot of youngsters and sort of weighing in. Sapiwe Majozi, who is probably one of our top supporters on the show, actually. Sapiwe says, we're likely to lose many of our local pilots to these opportunities, especially at a time when several South African airlines are already experiencing pilot shortages. What's even more concerning is that around 70% of students in our local flight schools are foreigners, meaning we are not developing enough South African pilots to fill the gap. Thanks for the amazing show. Conversations like this are important for the future. Keep up the great work, and we need a JITS update as well. So we'll get to that later. But what's your take there? Because obviously I didn't discuss it with you last week, but those orders are big. They're significant, and if you think about the amount of aircraft, they have to be crewed. So where's the crew going to come from? And the point that I made was these airlines are still taking experienced pilots. So it's not like Emirates are now saying, a bit like that we're doing in South Africa, you now need a Cessna 172 on your license to get a job on a medium-sized jet. That's not the case there. There's still sort of a decent entry level that's required. So they're going to be pulling experienced pilots away from somewhere. And one would think that the African market would be a bit of a target market, particularly South Africa, a target market for them to zap as many pilots as they possibly can. So if you're let's take you back a few years, instead of you sort of, you were at Med-Air before SACS. So now a youngster sort of, let's say Ryan pre-SACS at Med-Air, you could potentially be, ready to absorb, take up a role at a big Gulf airline. Would you take it?
I think so, definitely.
You would, eh?
Most youngsters, especially in today's times, would most certainly jump at that opportunity. I mean, back then it was far different for us. You needed like 5,000 hours on a King Air before you could get accepted into a regional airline.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Emirates at that stage wouldn't take you unless you had, was it more than 2,000 hours on a jet above 50 tons?
Yeah, something
you
like
didn't stand a chance, man. So, I mean, if you've got the opportunity to leap from like a charter job right now to a 777 or a 380, I don't see many youngsters passing that by me.
So that's the first question. Then the second question is, how does the rest of the industry adapt? Because
that's the scary part.
That's the scary part. Because it's not so much the Emirates and the Etihads. They're going to have their flow of pilots coming through.
You're already seeing it, though. I mean, there's flight schools in South Africa. You saw that advert that we were speaking about the other day where they're offering grade 3 and grade 2 instructors sign-on bonuses to join. So, I mean, it's starting at the flight school instructor level, let alone the charter companies and, your sort of corporate jet aircraft that need to be crewed. So we're already feeling that pinch, man.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll watch it closely over the next little period, but obviously these things have a bit of a delay, but expect to see some big disruption going on in the pilot space. Where do you go? What do you do? If you're a young pilot wondering what to do next and you want to shoot us a message, please do so. We'll chat about it.
It's an interesting one, though, because that said, there are quite a few guys I've come across recently that have gone abroad and are actually coming back.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Quite a lot. A lot of guys that have left South Africa have also just realized, look, there's no place like home. As much as we'd like to think that the grass is green on the other side, if you're South African, this place is still home. So a lot of guys still coming back and turning away some pretty decent overseas gigs in first world countries to stay home.
But what I'm seeing is a lot of those guys that are coming back have already done their stint at a decent gig and have possibly put a bit aside. Because that's a big thing. You're not, if you're thinking long term and that you need a period where you're earning some good USD.
So there's a positive spin to that. The guys go abroad, go and get that experience, earn some money, and then they return to South Africa. But now they're returning with experience, and then taking up the jobs, which is actually also quite beneficial.
Yeah,
in
for
a
sure.
lot of ways.
Good to have those guys back. Yeah, we've trained a few guys recently that have done exactly that. You say. Made the trip back. You say, what on earth are you doing here? They're like, no ways, man. This is the place to be.
Exactly.
For sure.
Nothing beats a burry roll and a cold beer.
100%.
And a Springbok game.
Particularly when the Springboks are playing the way they're playing. How's that game?
Yes. I didn't get to watch the match, but man, I heard all about it.
That was a bullying of note. Yeah.
I'm glad we gave the Irish a good
harding.
Smack.
It was a harding. It was an absolute harding. The scoreboard didn't reflect it, but that's as close you can get to legally bullying someone. So, yeah, good to give them a harding. Let's jump back into some aviation stuff. That MD-11 story we spoke about a few weeks ago, now there's articles coming out, and basically what we said, I'll pose a question to you again. Will we see MD-11s flying again? And the chances are now looking even slimmer.
Yeah, I doubt it.
They're now grounded for even longer inspections. Western global airlines furloughed many pilots due to the extended downtime. FedEx and UPS are using smaller planes. The grounding has caused a big shortage of wide-body cargo planes during this peak season. And if you take into account the whole pilot thing we've been speaking about, those pilots, they've been furloughed, but guaranteed they've been employed already somewhere else.
100%.
So, you can't let's say they're going to prove the aircraft to go and fly. Where are you going to get the pilots from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a pity, because it's a beast of an airplane then.
Yeah, look, I mean, have you ever sat inside an MD-11?
Yeah.
Flight deck? Yeah, it's massive.
Flight deck is massive.
Jeez, it's huge.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Yeah. Cool looking jet as well, but they are a bit long in the tooth, man.
Yeah. Time to say goodbye there. Volcano erupted.
Yeah, I saw that in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So I was interested about that. I was trolling Flight Radar 24 yesterday afternoon.
As you do.
Yeah, that's...
Are you one of those oaks that you watch Flight Radar and then an aircraft does like a hold, and then you post a message on social media that says, hey, what's going on with Airlink Flight 154 from Bloemfontein? They're holding above Juliet Sierra Victor.
No.
You're not one of those.
I'm definitely one of the oaks that I have to hold back. Sometimes I want to respond to those messages and say, listen, stop being a fucking pipe.
Yeah.
But listen, I am that dude that will like be in the garden in the afternoon when I get lucky, checking a thunderstorm pulling in, and you see these oaks cruising around. And then I get onto flight radar, I say, shit, who's working hard? And you see the oaks spinning around. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
So getting back to the flight radar 24 thing was, with that eruption, you would expect that there would be like massive diversions around Ethiopian airspace.
Weren't there?
Nothing. It was like the oaks. I was watching it last night just as a matter of interest because we had one hell of a storm come over our place. And I thought, let me check this Ethiopian thing. And they're just batting through the airspace like it's nobody's business. And that was a massive fucking eruption.
That volcanic ash scenario, nothing we've ever had to deal with, but it seems like a bit of it's a story.
Yeah.
You can't exactly ignore it. So yeah, funny that.
Yeah,
but this thing, 12,000 years.
It's a lot of build-up, eh?
Yes. Eruption sends a huge ash cloud 10 to 15 kilometers high, visible from space. The ash cloud spread eastward, reaching South Asia, including India. Disrupted quite a lot of flights in India. Lots of cancellations as well. It's now moving towards Nepal, Bhutan, and China. Airlines are monitoring it.
Okay, so it's affecting airspace more to the east, and that's fine.
Yeah. Got any plans to go to any major airshow events next year? Because I've got the schedule here for you.
Have you? No. I haven't even thought about that, to be honest. I'm taking one day at a time at the moment.
Singapore Airshow, 3rd to the 6th of Feb next year. There's the World Defense Show in Saudi. That's in Feb as well, 8th to the 12th. IATA Cargo Symposium in March. eBase is in Geneva, 27th to the 29th of May. There's a lot of them, actually. World Aviation Festival. What's that all about? October the 13th to the 15th. More events in Riyadh. Bahrain International Air Show. Speaking of air shows, it'll be nice to have an air show where there isn't a prang.
Yeah.
That's getting a bit out of control, to be honest.
It's insane, man. I mean, yeah, there was quite a bit of upset about the fact that that fighter jet crashed, and then the show just cracked on.
Well, but that was my next topic of discussion. Is that not the way to do it? I mean, I've actually never seen, and I don't want to, but I've never seen a plane crash in real life. I know, like I remember back in the day, Jono Fickling, I think he was at the air show where that L-39, one of those Sasol Tigers.
I've seen one. I was at that air show. Look, I was a kid with that Impala that crashed at Lanseria.
Oh, yeah.
That was like in 1997.
It's a bit disturbing, I would say.
No, listen, it shakes you up. And I just don't know how oaks just crack on after that. I mean, you must be a bit rattled. And then to get into an airplane and go and perform a display like you're on fire afterwards, after that's just happened.
Yeah, it's not like
take a special amount of mental capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't nice. What display happened afterwards? Was it just the big Emirates flybys that went afterwards? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But, I mean, one of the display pilots wrote quite a sort of emotional article saying, you know what, fuck you for doing that, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. He was like, that's just not on.
Mm. You call the show off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we should see the end of that. But that guy was so low, man. It just seems so...
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous.
You're not going to comment on it, but it just seemed crazy. Anyway, enough there. Leave it there. Cabin crew at Air New Zealand will take part in a historic strike on the 8th of December with 2 unions representing 3 flight attendant workforces covering all their regional, domestic, international services. They're doing a coordinated joint walkout that could grind the carrier to a halt. It's a place like New Zealand, when you're on an island in that part of the world, if Air New Zealand ain't flying, you ain't going anywhere. So strikes again. There was another one in, I think, was it Air Belgium? there's still issues going on in the States with the ATC.
Yeah.
There was more on that as well. That Patriot bonus. I don't know if you saw that Trump that thing. So only 5.5% of those FAA air traffic controllers who worked every day during the 44 government shutdown. The controllers received a $10,000 bonus from President Trump. Trump criticized 94.5% who took sick leave during the shutdown. They took sick days and all the rest. So, yeah, there's been a lot of disruption this time of the year. I can't think back in last year. There wasn't as much disruption. You normally get the European strikes over the summer. That's a given. They're going to happen. But to have like Air New Zealand and all these things going on, and particularly in the States this time of the year, I would have, a bit very disruptive.
Look, I think globally crew are working their hearts off.
And they're tired.
And they're tired, and they're just asking for a bit of better compensation.
Yeah.
But we had a conversation, was it the other day, or was I talking to a bunch of pilots where, again, it was one of those convos like, is really more money going to help, or is it a change in actual working conditions to benefit the crew's lifestyle? In fact, it was. There's a bunch of guys that are currently with a local airline that are going abroad, and they just said, look, same thing. More money is not necessarily going to make the situation better. It would be a change in roster to accommodate a better lifestyle that would make them stay.
That's what it's all about, man.
How many times have you said that?
Yeah, people people appreciate working for a company or an airline that understands what your priorities are.
Yeah.
And obviously, for the vast majority of people, priority number one is family, and with that, family time. And I just don't think you see that enough. And that's why the job is not as appealing as it once was.
Yeah. Because gone are the days where you can get a reliable roster that you can actually plan around. Because it sounds to me like most crew that you speak to are just getting shifted around, and their rosters actually aren't worth the pieces of paper that they printed on, and that's
which was always golden back in the day. Your roster was published, and then you could bet your house on that roster being, and you even had a bit of union protection there. They weren't able to change your roster a certain amount of days ahead. Look, and it varies from airline to airline. But that seems to have totally fallen away. Vanished. And now you've got a much more, pilots are there to do a job. And once you sign on, you belong to the airline. And we're going to you cost us a lot because your cost of employment is a lot. So we're going to get the most out of you. And it's sustainable for a very short period of time. And eventually you get hurtful. And what we're seeing here, certainly at the training center, is a lot of guys that were with airlines that are joining relatively small, some of them sort of corporate, some of them just one aircraft, little Part 91 operations for a lot less, and that's like almost the trend. And when the guys explain why they're doing it, it's just an absolute no-brainer. They're like, well,
totally understand.
It was either that or my marriage or my family, so it just,
that's all it is, man. So I wonder, talking about all these strikes and everything, how effective they actually are, and what is the root pain in the butt? Is it really more bucks, or is it the fact that they're fighting for better lifestyle?
Also, don't think it's going to change that, pal. If you're flying for an airline and they, the airline also doesn't hide behind what they do. It's not like you join and they tell you that your contract says you'll fly 60 hours a month. You know that you're gonna fly hard, and you can always leave, but a lot of people don't want to. You take this Air New Zealand thing; they're all local people that fly for that airline. If you want to fly for a long haul airline in New Zealand, you don't have many options. Same as us in South Africa, so you have to work for that airline.
Yeah.
So when maybe they don't meet the standards that you want in terms of time at home or whatever it might be, then you don't have much of a choice. Whereas in the States, I suppose you got a bit more. A couple of articles this week came out on LinkedIn as well, just people writing random posts, and one of them was pretty good about the whole sort of pilot shortage being, speaking pilot specifically, but the pilot shortage being a bit of a farce, because he says the minute the airlines started paying and looking at lifestyle things, suddenly the shortage wasn't there. He mentioned Delta and American and them. So there was this shortage, but then, I think Southwest were the first who started that, propped the salaries up and then also sorted out the lifestyle issues. Suddenly the pilot shortage was gone.
Yeah.
So you wonder, we started the show today talking about what are the pilots going to do. And, you wonder if most of these issues could be mitigated by simply just looking after the crew a bit better.
Yeah, just a couple of adjustments. Look, I know it's not easy for the airlines to accommodate it. I mean,
they're operating on an absolute
thin margins.
Thin margin.
And the worst job in the world is probably a rostering clerk.
They're also going to be fighting for lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to kind of wear two hats in this conversation for it, but
it's just the fact of aviation, isn't it? It's not going to change. The margins are so thin. When you see what's going on with all the regulatory things that the airlines have to do, airlines paying all these things for, their sustainability projects, and and so someone has to take the knock. But I just don't think it should be the pilot, the crew. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No,
the crew almost seem to be the ones that get affected by all these things going on because the airlines are operating on such a thin margin. Yeah. FAA just told airlines to avoid flying over Venezuela due to military activity. There was Air France pilot also posted on LinkedIn this morning about his route to Johannesburg yesterday.
Yeah.
All the way around again. And it was even further than it was when I did, because I think there's a couple more conflict zones popping up. So again, talking about margins and that, the airlines have to fly further, more fuel, more this, more that. Yeah. That's half the problem.
It is. It doesn't get any easier for any sort of faction of the airline business, man.
We're closing up shop at the Sim Center in a couple of weeks' time. What's the plans for the holiday season, bro?
John, I'm just going to catch up on time with my kids, and I can tell you exactly now.
You've got a countdown going.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We've got 16 days, 24 minutes and 38 seconds left.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I'm just going to spend quality time with the kids, man. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, it's been a busy, particularly second half of the year.
Yeah,
what are you all doing? Let us know. You're going away, the Joburg people? You leaving Joburg, or are you going to hang around? I noticed last year a lot more people hung around Joey's than in the past. It's normally a bit of a ghost town. But I think people now just prefer to avoid those crowds as opposed to heading to the coast. And that Cape Town will be packed, no doubt. My mom said it was boiling hot there yesterday.
Yeah.
The weather has literally been horrendous in Johannesburg. It's rained.
We haven't had any summer.
No, it's been cold and raining for it feels like months now. And you look at the forecast up ahead. I wanted to take the kids to Sun City or something, but it's raining all the time.
No, the weather forecast for Joburg's not Ayoba for the next couple of months. We're getting hit by some, what do they call it, La Nina.
Yeah.
Which just means it rains its arse off for months on end.
And storms, Woes, eh?
Hectic, man. Like I told you, we had one hit overhead our place last night. It genuinely felt like the roof was going to come off.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, pal.
Cool.
We've spoken about the F1. I'm too scared to put a wager on you on Max because I just, there's not enough races left.
Yeah, what have we got? 2 races left, eh?
Yeah, 2. So Lando will need a DNF in this one, and Max will need to win, and then the last race will be whoever finishes ahead wins, I think.
Yeah, so
something to that effect. We're writing off Oscar. Oscar's got the same amount of points as Max, but he just hasn't performed. And then the Boca play Wales, but we're only taking, I think, like 23. We're taking just 23 players to that game. The main guys have all gone back. So, but we'll still smash, I think.
Yeah, we only need like 8 players on the field to fucking sort them out.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Welsh,
they haven't been that good.
no. They're a walk in the park. But this weekend's race, getting back to it, is the Qatar. So we'll see what happens. No wages. Listen,
No wages.
maybe take a bet on the last one.
We'll take a bet on the last one, and then next year we'll definitely do the, I don't know what you call it, the virtual, what's it called? Like
it used to be called Super Brew.
Super Brew.
Something like that.
Something like that. So we'll sort one out. So if you want to join that one next year and we have a bit of a betting game on who wins the F1, then please join us. But thanks for joining the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
100%.
Bye for now.